DBS on Digicel TV Channel 50 and Flow TV Channel 951.
The Nation Station, DBS Radio, says thank you to you and to everyone for choosing the Nation Station, DBS Radio. DBS Radio on the go, www.dbcradio.net. Click the play button at the top and you're good to go with the Nation Station, DBS Radio.
You're listening to DBS Radio. It's already 19 minutes before the hour of 10 o'clock. Just to remind you, at 10:30 we have an outside broadcast, so we're bringing that live to you. We want to bring on the UWI experience, that program put on by the UWI Global Campus. And yes, we're going to tell you more about this experience. And we have in studio with us the head of the UWI Global Campus, Dr. Kimon Joseph. We also have Dr. Barry Kazimi. And we have a young man who will tell us about his experience as well. So we welcome you to the program. Stay tuned as we begin.
Your future awaits. Connect, learn, and succeed. Your future waits. Connect, learn, and succeed. Come put your shoulders to the wheel. Continuing and professional education. A chance to build a solid foundation. Emso Road UWI Global. Come give us a call. 448-3182.
Welcome again, and you're listening to DBS Radio. Let me go to Studio 2 and get some introductions. Studio 2, the Felix Henderson Studio. As I said, we have three people with us. We have head of the UWI Global Campus, Dr. Kimon Joseph. We also have Dr. Barry Kazimi, and Cedric Joseph is in studio as well. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Dr. Kimon Joseph, and the others.
Good morning, Ivona, and good morning to Dominicans. And welcome to Cedric Joseph, who's joining us for the first time on radio ever.
Interesting.
So welcome to you too, Cedric.
Dr. Kazimi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
It's nice to have you on again. I'm fine.
Thank you.
All right, so we're doing this today. It is the 26th day in the month of May, and we're happy to have you. Cedric Joseph.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
And you're not feeling any jitters, right? You're okay?
A little.
A little? No, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. We welcome you. Well, tell us who is Cedric Joseph, though.
Well, I'm Cedric Joseph. I'm from Goodwill. Basically, I am an entrepreneur. I have a small business. It's called Auto Concierge, car wash and detail. I also recently added on a small rental. I also do a little bit of farming as well. I into growing goats, livestock. I'm right now I'm in the process of breeding. Yes.
Wow. Dr. Joseph and Dr. Bazmi, this tells me a lot. And what does this say about UWI Global Campus, Dominica, when you listen to him? And of course, you know what he's involved in. But for people to hear, you know what he's doing, this says a lot about the UWI Global Campus.
Well, primarily, it's always very good for us when we have young men. I know you and I have spoken about this many times about, the fact that it's 85% women who attend courses and programs at UWI and globally when it comes to tertiary education. So it's always a joy to have a gentleman or two to join us on a program to speak about their experience. And it's also good because it allows people to really see that UWI is for everyone. I've been saying that for the past few years and I'll continue to say it. It's not for bourgeoisie, it's for everybody in Dominica and everybody across the Eastern Caribbean, anybody in the world even, because our programs are done online as well. But Dr. Casimir is Cedric's teacher, so I'll allow him to talk a little bit about what that experience has been for him in terms of having people like Cedric join his courses and programs.
Yes, Dr. Casimir.
Many people who did the entrepreneurship course are people who actually starting a business or who considering starting a business or in a business. So they wanted to hone their skills in entrepreneurship. Different things that you have to do, things that you may not have considered. Like, for instance, starting a business, what type of business you're going to start? Do I start a partnership or a limited liability company? Each one of them have its own details as to intricacies. What are the benefits of one opposed to the other? You think of key things as in your vision, where you want to see your business, where you want your business to go, and what are the steps you're going to actually take to get the business from point A to point B. You have to think of recording financial statements. I always tell our students, every class I do, we look like 1940s. We started with shops, and many of the shops have not graduated into something even bigger. In many of our Caribbean islands, just about 3 to 4% are owned by people from African descent. So that tells you there's a problem in terms of business and entrepreneurship, how we develop entrepreneurship, how we develop entrepreneurs, and the whole culture as it relates to developing entrepreneurs in the Caribbean. So whenever we have the class, I'm always happy to see people come in the classes and how they implement what they have learned into their business. And a year after, they tell me, Mr. Barry, I did this, I did that, and those are the results, and there's nothing better than that.
Interesting. Let me come back to you, Cedric, because I really want to hear your story. Who motivated you to take up this course at UWI Global Campus? Was it maybe listening to radio or a flyer you would have seen on social media, on Facebook or whatever? Who motivated you? Or was it just yourself? You say, okay, I think I want to go to UWI, and further my studies and, further my business. So tell us about how that came about.
Well, I work very closely with Dr. Ricketts. He's a Shillingford Ricketts.
Okay.
I'm a driver, so usually every now and then she's asked me, what do you want to study, Cedric? What do you want to do? She was mentioned that every so often she was mentioned that, and she was at a graduation, I believe, recently, the last past graduation.
Last year, yes.
And she told me, you know what, you have to start doing these courses. She told me, she got me a laptop. Imagine she got me a laptop and she's like, boom, you need to start. She told me what were the courses. She sent me via WhatsApp. She told me I should pick a course and I should get going. And that's how I ended up starting.
So Dr. Ricketts empowered you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. And we're talking at a time when we still hear the cry that men, enough men are not coming forward, to take up courses at not just at UWI Global Campus, but continuing education. And this is a wonderful story, Dr. Barry Casimir. I want to come back to you because I know we have spoken about this on radio.
Yes.
Of course, you have a few men, yes, but you don't see a lot of men.
The numbers are bad. During our graduations, on average, we just have about 15% of men. Numbers are bad. We have some programs where just 100% women. Or early childhood short course, for instance, for the past few years, I think only once we had one man. I'm registered in it.
Wow. And he passed away, so he did not even get to complete. Only one man the entire time that we've been running that particular program. Not even a course, a whole program.
Yes.
What is most fascinating is that areas like quantity surveying, project management, building and construction, which are traditionally men field, you see women in those areas.
Wow. And they're the top students now too.
They are the top students. For the past few years, a woman has topped the quantities and the building. So those are the realities. We're trying our best to see how we can get men to enter higher education. We have had some success, and we believe that we will continue to have success in that. My thing is that as long as men see that their success stories, they will come. And also it's a matter of how we socialize our young boys from small. So once we can, at the school level, socialize them in the way that they can see the benefit of education, and education is the one true way black people can actually move from point A to point B. They can see that. I believe in the future that we will have the balance will balance off. Because in the 50s, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it was the other way around. We had more men doing higher education. But it changed. So we're hoping that it can at least balance off. We don't want the drastic change. But we want it to balance off.
But does that change, or is it reflected in the Caribbean, or?
Oh, no doubt.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. And that phenomenon is not just Caribbean.
No, I'm talking about UWI, for UWI.
Oh, yes. In all the sites as well as the campuses, that 85-15 has remained and been maintained in terms of male attendance and participation in courses and programs. But like Dr. Kazimi is saying, stories like Cedric, and we try our best every time we go on, maybe not necessarily on DBS, but every time we go on, we try to bring at least one gentleman in the cycle to really show that there are positive and success stories. There are people who are benefiting from short courses and programs. There are men who are benefiting from doing their degree programs and so on. At the grassroots level, we have started a program with our alumni association called the Man-to-Man Project, where alumni go into the schools and speak to young men in the schools about the benefits of tertiary level education. And we know what they're up against. You know, you have young men, as Barry always tells me, they sit there and they say, but sir, you have all your degrees, but I make X amount of money a day on the streets. You know, they can actually tell you, and there has to be more than just the monetary value that you're bringing to them when you are discussing with them the value of tertiary education. We are proud because Dr. Ricketts is alumni, and she is very proud of her university, and so we are glad that Cedric can be a success story in terms of our alumni referring people that they know to our courses and programs.
Maybe a new movement can be started.
Yeah.
You know, alumni referring people.
Yes.
And so that's good. I'm really, really encouraged by this. Because Cedric, I want to come back to you though. When you first started your course, when you signed up, of course, you did what you had to do. Of course, you paid and all of that. When you first started, was it what you expected?
Yes. Basically, the first class got me really pumped. I was actually doing push-ups. I was so excited.
So you were energized.
yes, because that whole business idea thing came from young. My dad was a businessman. My dad started a lot of businesses. He had a macaroni factory, had a plastic factory.
Okay.
My dad did a lot of things.
That's Paul Joseph.
Paul.
Yes,
I was just about to say that. Yes.
You have a legacy of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always looked up to my dad. You know, he always did things like steady, wholesale. Even the last thing, just before he just decided he wasn't doing anything, he started a chicken farm. He was doing eggs, you know. So he always doing something. So I have that in me.
And you realize it's more when he started as a businessman in his younger days. It's different from now.
Yes, very different.
There's a lot more that you have to know.
That's true.
Interesting, because of course Dr. Barry Kazimi mentioned financial statements, recording, so all of that you have to put.
But that is just one part of it. E-commerce and the internet, it has changed the landscape of businesses. You can think, for example, in the 90s and early 2000s. Let's use Hucksters for instance. You bought produce from Dominica, send it to say Antigua, Guadeloupe. With e-commerce and the internet, you can just with a click, you get the same produce from Costa Rica and South America. You ship it up to those islands for a fraction of the cost, and you see how those little things put competition on our own markets, our farming industry, and how it has made it so difficult for us to actually survive. So the competition, the world has actually shrunk, and the competition is a lot tighter. And you can't think of, when you have a business, think of just Dominica alone. You have to start with thinking regionally and then globally. And when you think of that, you have to think of tariffs, you have to think of so many different things. So the landscape is totally different now as compared to the 80s and early 90s.
And Cedric Joseph, I see you're nodding your head in agreement, because even this discussion here is a learning experience for you. You're learning a lot from this.
Sure, because I remember back in the days, electricity wasn't so high, so you could run, you could do a lot more things that you can't do now.
Okay, so what's the name of the course again, Dr. Kazimir? The one that he's
the one I did was entrepreneurship and new venture creation.
Okay, and new venture creation.
Yes.
Interesting. Is this part of the summer courses that's coming on? I know we want to talk about that, what you're offering. How is this placed on your agenda?
Well, what we want really is people like Cedric who have done those short courses, when they are finished, they can actually start one of our Senate programs, whether it's a business management studies, or they can look into a different area, whether it's accounting or any of the programs. That's what we want. We want them to actually use it as a springboard to enter in our Senate programs, or they could just do another short course to basically sharpen their skills.
Okay.
We've seen people do short courses and they have used that for either promotion or sharpen their skills or go into different departments. So that's what we want. So you start with entrepreneurship, you can do something like human resource management. Now you hone in, you specialize in it, you focus on the people who you're employing. So that's where human resource management comes. You can think of conflict management. How do you solve conflicts in an organization? Customer conflicts in terms of you and your external stakeholders. How do you solve that kind of conflict? A frustrated customer comes. How do you solve that conflict between the customer and whoever they have the issue with in an amicable way? Everybody benefits. So those courses, yes, they're entrepreneurship, but even within the entrepreneurship, there are areas within those courses we are doing that you can actually benefit from.
And we all go into public speaking, Dr. Kimon Joseph, because that too is an important part. If you're in a business.
It is. It's very important to speak and to be able to sell yourself and your organization. And as we always say, for you and for me, it might not be difficult at all, but we must understand that 98% of the world, the people in the world are afraid to speak in public. And that's a lot. That's a lot of people. So there are only 2%, like you and me, who are not afraid to speak in public. And it's very important. I always tell students, you may know what you know. You may be an expert in your field. You understand your business well. But can you speak competently about it? Because when people hear you speak, they're going to judge you based on what comes out of your mouth. And it's not true that you don't know what you're talking about, but the way you're saying it or the way you're fumbling over trying to say it can really be a make or break in terms of your business and bringing more customers to your place or to your product or to your service.
What is happening at UWI these days? Busy time as usual?
It's always
apart
a busy time.
from all the courses that you have won and, further education and all of that.
Yes, it's always a busy time. We are gearing up now for two major things over the next 2 weeks. We have certificate ceremony where we're going to be honoring all the students who participated in semester 2 part 1. And so it is time to do that, and it's over 400 people. So we're getting ready for that. I was just looking and telling Dr. Kazimi earlier, my WhatsApp is getting full of all the photographs and so on, because students have to send in their photos for us to be able to honor them in that virtual ceremony. So this is what we are doing right now, and I've wondered it's the same 85-15 in terms of the over 400. The women are more participatory in that regard. And the second thing that we are doing over the next 2 weeks is we are gearing up for our induction ceremony for the new executive of the Guild of Students and the Alumni Association. And we're very excited about that because both groups have a range of activities and programs that they want to do for the academic year, and they are anxious to get started. So they will be inducted next week, Thursday, the 5th of June.
Okay. All right. We're listening to the UWI program, UWI Global Campus Dominica on DBS Radio. We are going to talk about the short courses in a short while, but we want you to listen to this as we continue with the discussion. Stay tuned.
Explore your world virtually. Discover high-quality online and blended higher education programs at the UWI Global Campus. Access our in-demand and quality-assured graduate and undergraduate degrees, associate degrees, diplomas, and continuing and professional educational programs and courses anywhere, anytime. Join our global community of learners and achieve your academic dreams. Apply today. Visit our website at www.global.uwe.edu/apply. Your future awaits. Connect, learn, succeed.
Connect, learn, succeed. Let's talk about the upcoming courses, the summer courses from the 16th of June. And that's less than a month. Just about roughly 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Yes, it's coming up very soon. So our summer courses will be from the 16th of June to the 31st of July 2025. On schedule, we have conflict management, customer service, foundations of conversational Creole, interpersonal communication. These are on Mondays and Wednesdays, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll be having human resource management 1, public speaking and professional presentation skills, strategic planning and management, and wedding planning and decoration.
All right, and you start on the 16th of June with the same arrangement in terms of payment. There's installment that you can pay by if you're not, if you're not able to pay in full. Of course, you have this program on still, right?
Yes, so people can do a payment plan, and the payment plan, because the courses are 6-week courses, and so they're $300. So the payment plan is that people pay $150 at the start, and then they will pay the other $150 at the end of June.
Okay. All right. So Cedric, you did your courses. It was 6 weeks. A 6 weeks course you did, or 10 weeks.
Yes.
And how was the experience for you in terms of doing it via Zoom? I guess most of it was via Zoom, or it was more practical because you had to come in person. What was it like?
It was via Zoom.
Okay.
It was basically always on time. We spent about 2 hours, I believe. 2 hours would go up to 3 hours sometimes, depending on, sometimes we talk about certain things and we really get into it. So we used to go over most of the time, basically. It was and
I'm chuckling,
Yes,
because Kazimi knows himself, and he knows that he goes over sometimes. And then he says to me, whenever I tell him, boy, you're going over your class time, but I like to hear myself.
Could it also be the Dr. Kazimi? I'll come back to you, like an adrenaline rush, and you're so excited that you're teaching people.
I think that is what it is. I think that is what it is. But what is fascinating, when I started teaching, first class, my entire face is drenched with water. So Kimon used to bring a bottle of water for me.
And tissue. And he could barely speak for an hour because he was so nervous. And now...
So was there a course that you did to combat this?
Well, the thing is, once you do things, whenever I do,
you do it repeatedly, obviously you learn.
Anything I do, I would actually do it, go over it a week before, over and over and over and over till I get it. Anything. So I practice it over and over and over till I get it. So that is basically what I do up to a day like today. I get the information, I have to go over it over and over and over. So any question that comes, I'm able to answer it competently. But as I do it over and over, I get better at it.
I'm interested. So let me come back to you, Cedric. How do you put yourself in that right frame of mind when the classes were coming up? Because, of course, during the day, you're doing what you have to do. You're flying your trade. You're doing your business. But when it's class time, how did you get yourself to settle and say, yes, okay, for the next 2 hours, that's it?
It was basically automatic, just sign in. You go to your... I did it on my phone most of the times. I just sign in to Zoom. Sometimes I'd be driving home from work or wherever I am, but I just make sure, I listen in, and my headset's in it's easy now, you have your headset in your ears and you just listen to the class, and you can ask a question, always pause the teacher if you don't understand anything, It was...
So that worked well for you?
Yes.
That worked well for you. You'd encourage more young men to take part in this? How would you encourage them, though? What would you tell them?
Well, that's kind of difficult. Well, the thing is, my girlfriend right now, actually, I told her about it, and she has actually done more courses than me.
You see, somebody told you, and then you told somebody, and then she will tell somebody else.
Yeah. So I'm happy about that. Though she has probably on number 4 now going, and. Yeah.
So you did group work and all of this?
Yes. The group presentation was nice. Meeting, I met other individuals who had different businesses, different ideas. Even the thing about it too, you meet people from other countries. There was someone in our group from the Virgin Islands, I think. Yes, and we did her business. It was a makeup business. So. You meet other people, other islands, get their point of view, and it was nice.
Okay. So, Dr. Joseph, we were looking at the courses as well. Conflict management. This always comes up. How important is this course?
Well, it is very important as particular people in management, middle and upper level management, to be able to manage conflict in the workplace. You'd be surprised how many organizations, or maybe you won't be,
I won't be surprised.
How many organizations where there are people who are not talking to other people in the same business place, and they're not talking for years, and everybody just, it's too big people, I'm not getting involved. But actually getting people to work together and to be able to communicate well and to be on at least good speaking and working relations. They don't have to be best friends, is better for business. And the research shows that the more people are happy and comfortable at work, the less likely they are to even build further conflicts, and the more likely they are to be able to produce more and to be effective in the workplace. So the drama is not good for anyone, really. And so it is important that when these conflicts arise in the workplace, that the supervisors and the managers and leaders of the organization are equipped to know how to do it. It's not just in the workplace alone. In church, you'd be surprised how many people are talking to each other in church, Ivona. Who from the choir is not talking to who for 5 years now, and so on. And so it is very important in all sorts of organizations to be able to deal with and manage conflict. It's also good for our interpersonal communication with other people too. And some people, I've said this before, it's sort of like your life calling and you don't even know. You're probably one of these people who, whenever people have drama, it's always you to bring people together to solve it. Well, it is important to learn to be trained and to understand how to be able to do that effectively. So that is what the course in conflict management is really about. It's also a good course for people thinking about taking the courses in counseling. Right? So you want to take some of the